Hello everyone. Finally this godforsaken 2020 is coming to an end, and it has been a very difficult year. I don't have to tell you, I mean, you already know, we're all on the same boat here. So anyway, if there's anything which was good in 2020, I would say very good, there was music. There was absolutely music. For us, I mean, it was the launch of this website, which is cool, and it's giving us great results. So thank you all for joining and for being with us through these difficult times. There was, of course, the release of Inverno, the third Crimson Dawn record. So lots of very nice things, which offset a little bit all the bad stuff that has been going on. But without further ado, let's go to talk about my favorite albums of 2020. Okay, so I've divided them in categories, and I will tell you 4 names for each category, and I will tell you which one is my favorite in that particular subgenre. Okay, so the first category is for a traditional and epic metal. Okay, there's been a very fruitful year, lots and lots of great releases. The ones which impressed me the most are these ones. Okay, so Roadwolf, Unchain the Wolf, Ungol or Cirith, whatever you wanna pronounce it, Forever Black, Aedris from Possessed Steel, and Wytch and Thorn from Dark Forest. Okay, all of these are very strong records. I mean, Cirith first come back after like 30 years. An absolutely great record with the unmistakable, unforgettable vocals and everything else. Really, it's a great album. Roadwolf is a new band, traditional heavy metal, and very powerful and direct and catchy songs. I mean, every song has hooks, which is something which I really like, and I think really makes a difference. Possessed Steel is more on the epic side, and Aedris is a great concept album, which I suggest you listen to. Look out for them on Bandcamp. And then we come to Dark Forest, which came out for Crystal Sur Records, Italian label, which I personally like very much. We'll have other entries in this top 20. Anyway, Dark Forest is my favorite for this year for traditional and epic metal. It's kind of a more Celtic sounding Iron Maiden kind of thing. All right. So the vocals remind me of a little bit of Bruce Dickinson in the delivery, especially of the singer, and it's packed with great melodies, and it's really a great record. I mean, the title track is probably the song I like less, but there's so many great stuff in there. Wayfarer's Eve, Relics, Avalon. All very strong and very good songs. So that's my personal favorite for traditional metal this year. If you love a little bit of classic Iron Maiden, if you like Thin Lizzy, if you like harmony guitars and a bit of a Celtic vibe, I assure you you're going to enjoy this very much. Okay, so let's go to doom metal. Doom metal has been particularly great this year. There were so many releases, and they were all very good. All right, so let's start from what I didn't put in my top 4. And I mean, there were some great albums like Ghost of Orion from My Dying Bride, which I didn't include in my top 4, just because the top 4 were even better from my personal point of view. Alright, so it's been a great year. Pale Divine, Consequence of Time, is also on Crystal Sur Music, and this American band has created a very powerful piece of, I would say, very traditional doom metal. You know, if you are into that kind of pentagons and vitus, those kind of things, with a little bit touch of traditional metal, but not as much as Candlemas or something, you know. It's just a little bit. The basis of it is still very traditional American doom, very bluesy. Anyway, this is a very good album which I enjoyed really much. Then we have my friends from l'Impero delle Ombre with Racconti Macabri volume 3, entirely sung in Italian. Impero delle Ombre is a wonderful traditional doom metal band. It just sounds great, and you know, it's very difficult, very difficult to write Italian lyrics when you're doing heavy metal, and you know, they just do it with grace, and it doesn't sound forced at all. It doesn't sound corny like it might, like sometimes metal in Italian does. So it's another great album in a stellar discography. So pick it up. It's out from Black Widow Records, and it also has a absolutely great limited edition with book with lyrics, with wonderful illustrations and stuff. So if you want to see it, let me know. I will cover it in a future episode. Okay, so of the Captain's Log, of course. And then we get to the top, you know, with the two albums which are probably, I mean, also at the top of my overall preferences this year. All right, I'm talking about Pallbearer, Forgotten Days, and Sorcerer's Lamenting of the Innocent. Okay, both of these are amazing albums. Forgotten Days from Pallbearer is, you know, it's a little bit less on the the progressive rock side compared to Heartless, their previous record, which I absolutely adored. And this one is, you know, songs are generally shorter, except from Silver Wings, which is like 12 minutes, but the rest are a bit shorter. Sounds a bit more like this made of, I wouldn't say an album made of singles, but every song is very memorable in terms of melodies and choruses and stuff. So it's a very good record, and it has, as I said, some the melancholy which is part of their sound is striking here. It sounds absolutely great, and melodies are top-notch, musicianship very great. So yeah, all in all, it's one of my favorites this year for sure. And then, as I was saying, Sorcerer's Lamenting of the Innocent. Yeah, that's a monster really. I mean, again, melodies, again, musicianship which is through the roof, you know. There are very few bands that compare to them in terms of quality of performance, you know. Impressive guitars and impressive lead guitars, which managed to be at the same time highly technical, shredding things, and also melodic, which is very difficult to achieve. But you know, they just do it with almost no effort. It looks like, I mean, I know there's going to be a lot of effort actually in producing something like this, but they're so good that they make it sound like it's effortless, which is mind-blowing, you know. And of course, Handel's vocals, incredible as usual. There's not a single song which doesn't have a absolutely stellar chorus. So it's also a little bit more varied compared to the previous one, Crowning of the Fire King, which was also incredibly good. But this one is, in my opinion, a lot better, because there's a little bit more variety. It doesn't really sound like the same song repeating over and over again. You need to really get into it and listen proper to catch all the nuances and stuff. But it's absolutely great. As I said, these and Pallbearer are probably my top two for this year, and so 2 out of 2 in doom metal. As I said, it's been an amazing year for the genre. All right, so let's get on with the next one, the next category, which is hard rock. All right, so hard rock. When it comes to hard rock, I'm honestly disappointed that I didn't get my friends from Witchwood their new album before the winter in time to give a proper listen. Still haven't put my hands on it. It's going to be coming anytime soon, but I'm sure I will be cheating to include them in next year's list because they're an amazing band and the single is great. I'm sure the album is going to be great, but I haven't listened to it, so I can't put it into this list. So what I'm putting into this list for hard rock is number 3, Pentecost from Wytch, Hazel, then the Serpent Rings from MAGNUM, Change the World from Scarem, and Heatwave from Thundermother. Okay, Thundermother I wasn't familiar with. I really just discovered it thanks to this album, and I found such an amazing band. I mean, it's a lot of fun to listen to these girls rocking out. It's absolutely traditional hard rock between stuff like AC/DC or Whitesnake come to mind and stuff like that. And Sleep is one of the most beautiful ballads I've ever heard, honestly. But Dogs from Hell, it's packed full of great tunes. So I don't think they're very well known yet, even if they've been around for a while. So if you haven't listened to them, give them a chance because they rule. Okay, then we have Scarem. Scarem, of course, is a very important name when it comes to AOR and melodic rock and stuff. And the new album from this Canadian band does not disappoint. I mean, Change the World is as strong as every other record they made. It has some great melodies, great musicianship, and the way they use the vocals and the layers of vocals, it's incredible. I mean, it kind of reminds me of Def Leppard, which is the greatest compliment because Def Leppard is one of my favorite bands, and the use they do of vocal lines and vocal layers is unparalleled, I would say. So another great record to listen to, and MAGNUM is MAGNUM, one of my all-time favorites. Another very strong offering from them. It's really incredible. I really wish I can get to the age that Tony Clarkin has and still be able to, in my 70s, to churn out album after album. I mean, an album every 2 years. All of them have been absolutely great. So it's one of the most consistent bands ever, and the new album is no exception to the rule. All right. So no need to talk too much about them because they're pretty well known. So let's get to Wytch Hazel, which is my personal favorite for hard rock for this year. All right. Well, Wytch Hazel is, what can I say? It's if you can imagine something like first album Ghost with reverse lyrics. Lyrics about praising God and the Archangel and whatever instead of praising Satan. That's more or less what this is. No, I mean, they're not nearly as dark sounding as the first record from Ghost, but they do remind me of Ghost in the way they build their riffs and in the way every song has an insanely good hook. I mean, you listen to it once and it's already in your mind, ingrained there. So I was very surprised. I didn't know the band before. Some say it sounds a little bit like Wishbone Ash even, so lots of guitar melodies and stuff. I can only say that in terms of classic rock, this is probably my favorite album since the last Tanit, since the album from Tanit came out, which was also absolutely great. So give it a chance, find them on Bandcamp. Another wonderful record, although I'm sure most of you will have already heard about it because it's been out. So all pause and stuff. So let's go to, don't want to be going on for too long, so let's go to power metal. Okay, for power metal my selection this year was Rage with the Wings of Rage, then Unleash the Archers with Abyss, Falconer from Dying Ember, and the Sacred Outcry, Dance for All Time, which is the newest band here. Okay, so let's start from them. Sacred Outcry is a great band. They're using they have the singer from Beast in Black, I think his name. It's the spin-off band from Battle Beast. Yeah, I think it's Beast in Black. Sorry, I'm getting old. Anyway, it is more like it sounds more like he's some sort of guest, because the songwriting is all in the hands of the other guys in the band. Anyway, if you like Domine, this is very close to what Domine have been doing in the 90s, while at the same time keeping its own personality. So it's a very, very good epic power metal album, more on the epic side probably, but still power enough that I put it into this category instead of the traditional metal one. So just don't be put off by the first song, which is the worst, okay? So the worst song of the album is the first. I don't know, man. I mean, lucky for them it's not the 90s anymore and you can listen to the whole album before you buy it. You don't have to listen to the first song and decide from that. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sure they like it, but to me that's the weakest song of the bunch. The rest is outstanding. Okay, so from Falconer, well, this is their last record, as they've been saying. They have now officially split up after this. I still hope they will sometime come back and maybe change their mind, because they've been a wonderful band, especially on record. Live, I didn't really like them when I saw them, but they were playing so few shows that I think it's just normal. I mean, if they had the chance to tour and play more live, they probably would have improved on that aspect anyway. Also, but anyway, it is a very, very good sending off, kind of closing the chapter of Falconer with this record. It's a good thing. I liked it a lot more than its predecessor. This is more on par with stuff like Northwind in my mind, so I would say the second tier of the Falconer albums. I mean, the first ones are the masterpieces, like the first two, and then you have the second tier, which is some sort of Northwind, and this one, I think they both are in that category. So it's another very strong offering. Then, as I was saying, there's Wings of Rage, the new Rage album. Rage is one of my all-time favorite bands, and this record is a classic Rage, which means very powerful riffs, lots of staccato things, and very powerful sound, and of course great melodies, great choruses with always that little touch of melancholy which sets them apart from other European power metal bands. They were never a happy metal band, and I think that's probably the reason why they're among my all-time favorite bands. So I just love Rage, and this album is, as I said, classic Rage. So it's not standing at the top of this year just because there's nothing really new here. It's a traditional, very well done, very well conceived and played and produced Rage album, which is of course good enough for me, but I needed something a little bit more to claim this as the power metal album of the year. Personal favorite this year has been Unleash the Archers, Aedris. It is such a wonderful record. I mean, highly technical, but at the same time full of heart and passion. It's modern power metal, which sometimes they use growls, even if they use it a lot less than they used to in the past. Okay, which is a good thing to me, because there was a bit too much of them. It becomes like a little bit forced, while with this is perfectly balanced. Absolutely great choruses, very pop sounding, which is of course what power metal is supposed to be, heavy metal with very catchy choruses. That's it, and they do it perfectly. So it's absolutely great. Britney Slave's voice is stellar as usual, and Faster Than Light might be my favorite power metal song in I don't know how many years. I mean, it's just a masterpiece. You listen to it and it's so uprising and uplifting and full speed ahead, and it's just great. I mean, I haven't been enjoying that much that kind of song, a song of that kind, for many years. So that's absolutely great, and makes for a great record, which I really strongly suggest you listen to. Okay, so we come to the end. Last four. This category is called Others because it's bands from different genre, which I really enjoyed with their new albums. But are in genres for which I didn't listen to enough stuff to really make a full list. So here we go. We have for prog metal, we have Psychotic Waltz with the God-Shaped Void. Very great comeback from this amazing band. This is progressive metal at its finest, where it's it's about creating an atmosphere. It's about having great melodies and yes, technical playing, but not for the sake of being technical, but for the sake of creating the right atmosphere. I really loved it, and I think some of you who are more passionate about doom metal should try to listen to it, because some of the melodies kind of reminded me of stuff which you could find also on stuff like Sorcerer's records, for example, or Paradise Lost or something like that, in terms of melodies. So don't overlook it. It's definitely a great record. Then Dark Tranquility, Moment. I admit I was never a big fan of the band, but not because I didn't like them, because I always liked those few songs that I heard. It's just that you're following already hundreds of bands, if not thousands, so something goes overlooked, and it's inevitable. Anyway, this record is very well thought out. Once again, melody is the key for me, so here we have great melancholic melodies, great use of keyboards, and of course Thunder's vocals. So it's a great record which I enjoyed very much. Not an expert on melodic death metal, so I'm not going to say anything else except from give it a try, because it's worth it. Then of course you have you have Testament for thrash metal, and there's nothing to say really. Titans of Creation is another pure, unadulterated slab of fantastic heavy thrash metal, and from one of the greatest lineups actually on in the scene, the whole scene. So just listen to it. I liked it more than the previous album, the Brotherhood of the Snake, if I'm not mistaken. I still maintain my passion for Dark Roots of the Earth as the best modern Testament album, but this one is very close. It's very good, and I wasn't expecting anything less. So the last one and the winner for this category, it's I wouldn't say it's a metal album, because it's not. It's basically 80s pop with with a touch more of guitars, a little bit more of a rock attitude. But anyway, I'm talking about Night Flight Orchestra, Aromantics. This is probably the single record which I have, together with Sorcerer. These are the two I have listened to the most this year. So I would definitely put this in my top 3 together with Sorcerer and Pallbearer. And what can I say? It's amazing. Every song is damn catchy, and it really sounds like it was done in the 80s, like it's in a soundtrack for an 80s movie. And but I'm not usually a fan of nostalgia taint stuff, but when it's done in such a beautiful way, the guys from Bjorn's vocals and David's songwriting are top notch as usual. I mean, if David Anderson wrote something this year, it's probably going to end up in my top 3, and and so it happened again. So it's just a great piece of music, and if you are into 80s music at all, you definitely need to check this out. It's a lot of fun, and I had lots of fun listening to it. Okay, that's it. I think I've been talking too much already, so time to go. I hope you enjoyed this recap of the year of my favorite records, and hope you will let us know what your favorites are in the comments. Alright? So take care, and have great holidays, and great festive season, and we'll see you in 2021, and let's hope it's a bit better than 2020.